Hello everybody, my name is Benjamin Bloom. You are watching the Benjamin Bloom Football Channel and this is another transfer update video. What number are we up to? Number 6 in our series here. We're looking at the Championship and transfers in and out. We will talk about some of our dearly departed teams who are just relegated or promoted, but I will give you my view on done deals, so no rumours, the deals have to be done, and I'll give you my view on what I think the signing's like for the selling club, for the buying club, for the player, and what we think people are getting. Now, a little bit of movement in the past couple of days. What we're starting to see now is the desirable free transfers are now starting to get swept up and taken on by clubs. So, for example, people whose contracts have expired. I know there's been a bit of back and forth with the whole deadline with lockdown and the season being extended, but you're now starting to see sort of desirable, experienced Championship players get gigs at other clubs. You're going to see that. You're going to see more of the fees starting to come in, and then you get the mad rush at the end of what's left over and what people need. Karanka is off to the races now at Birmingham and Nottingham Forest. A few deals in there. As I say, Karanka's off to the races. He's gone with an old friend, if you'll excuse the pun, in George Friend. He arrives at Birmingham, a vastly experienced left back. He's only 32. I know he made the Championship team of the decade. I think he's been promoted a couple of times, hasn't he? Presumably both with Borough. A very solid, very good left back. Could probably play centre back in a 3 at a push, but you wouldn't think Karanka would do that. We know Karanka to be a sort of pragmatic manager who likes a very stable defence. Doesn't necessarily need an attacking fullback. So this one looks perfect. A free transfer, experience, worked with the manager before. I think that's good for player, good for buying club. I would have thought Neil Warnock would have wanted to keep him around. Look at the bottom there of that article. Started 8 consecutive games as captain after Neil Warnock's appointment. So I would think the only people this doesn't work for is Middlesbrough. But Friend in at Birmingham. Another sort of left back who can play centre back is Tyler Blackett. He's been at Reading this past few seasons. Started his career there, it says, at Manchester United. Experience on loan at Blackpool, Birmingham, Celtic. He has ended up at Forest. Now, I would have thought, given the performance of the Forest backline last season, particularly Yuri Ribeiro at left back in Blackett's position, and then people like Joe Worrell at centre half and Figueiredo as well. This could be a squad signing, joining the defensive team and able to sort of step in. Remember as well, under Lamucci, a little bit different than Karanka, who we've just spoken about, where I think Karanka would like the back 4 to kind of stay where they are, whereas Lamucci is happy for those fullbacks to go forward, providing the 2 midfielders in front don't move. So it's a bit of a different gig fullback there. I would expect, given how well Ribeiro did last season, that Blackett has got to fight his way into that team in training. But good addition, an extra number, and Championship experience for free cannot be a bad thing. Moving on, Angus Mcdonald. Sorry, dun. Angus, if you've ever listened to AC/DC, you won't be able to hear the word Angus without doing that, so I just have to do it. Has joined newly promoted Rotherham from Hull, centre half there. Where had he been? At Barnsley as well. Third signing in, along with Mikael Miller and Kieran Sadlier. We know what Paul wants to do. He wants to play 4-4-2. He wants to have big centre halves. He wants to have quick wingers and fullbacks that get forward. He wants to get the ball in the box. Very kind of old school, but I like that. I like tactical diversity as well. So you think Angus McDonald will fit right in there. I know there's a couple of highly rated players, particularly at centre half there at Rotherham, so I don't know whether this facilitates one of them going out, but certainly it's a good, experienced player coming in. Always good when you see your club signing a player who's been captain at another team in the way of George Friend. You always think, okay, I'll take that. And remember as well, Angus Mcdonald, tough time there, treated for the early stages of bowel cancer there in 2019. I remember the football world getting behind McDonald. So nice to see him in the Championship here again, this time with Rotherham. There is Corey Smith. Now, speaking of desirable free agents, they don't come more desirable than Corey Smith there. So I've copied the article a little bit too small there, so you can't read any of the writing. Late 20s, but really highly thought of at Bristol City, central midfielder. They missed him badly through injury last season, and when he came back, he was a shoo-in in the team. Not the best departure, I don't think, from what I've read, and particularly Smith said on his Instagram, look, I didn't get an offer here, so I'm going to leave, and the contract expiring. And remember, lots of sort of ambivalence on the part of the higher-ups at Bristol City in terms of getting a new manager in. Ended up with Dean Holden and a 4 or 5 week rate. So maybe Corey Smith leaving is collateral damage, and if a new manager had come in earlier, one of their first jobs would have been to secure Corey Smith. But that's a really good signing, I think. It's a bad one for Bristol City to lose him, a really good one for Swansea. It does kind of play into the narrative that I'm holding on Swansea, that there's people underneath the owners there doing a very good job at making the owners look good whilst they don't put any money in, and a signing like this just does exactly the same, because Smith is absolutely Championship ready. Already people like Grimes and Byers and Fulton in those central midfield positions, so well stocked. And with Byers, Grimes particularly being a saleable asset, maybe they now have a body in if they did want to take a transfer fee for him and let me go. But big thumbs up again, very similar in terms of the buying club. I think that's a thumbs up, but disappointing one for Bristol City to see him go for free. And another free transfer. I think they're all free transfers here. As I said, you're seeing the desirable free agents going first. Stephen Fletcher, getting on in age, but he will, to use the cliche, he will do you a job in the Championship. A tall number 9, but not just that, decent on the ball as well, can come back and join in. As it says, Fletcher makes it 3. That is Stoke City's 3rd signing of the summer there, with Morgan Fox and James Chester coming in. Already quite the career when you look at it. I know he's getting on a little bit in age, into his 30s here, but look at that experience. Good goal scorer in the Scottish Prem, down to Burnley, then stays in the Premier League. Look there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 seasons there. £12 million transfer once for Sunderland as well. You're not going to see massive 13 goals there, the highest. Oh, in fact, last season as well, he did 13 as well. We know strikers always score a lot under Gary Monk, and I suppose Fletcher will be disappointed he's just leaving as James Beattie's arriving in terms of working with him as a coach. But he's one of those players, and I remember Bobby Robson saying this about Alan Shearer: make the game simple, stick Stephen Fletcher between the width of the box, play him for 30, 35 games. You can see there, 27 played, 13 scored. That's decent. If he plays 30 to 35 games, you'd think he's going to be a sort of 15 to 20 goal striker in the Championship. And for free, I'm sure his wages will be nice, and I'm sure there'll be a few bonuses kicked in based on appearances and goals and league finish and whatnot. But that looks to me to be a good deal, and Michael O'Neill looks to be building up some decent Championship experience. But I've had my fingers burnt saying that about Stoke before. Their last 3 managers, I've thought, in Rowett, Nathan Jones and now O'Neill, 3 times I've thought, oh, they're decent Championship experience, and it hasn't worked. So I think that we do need to see a cultural shift in Stoke for this to work, but I think having the likes of Stephen Fletcher around is a net gain. Look at that, 152 career goals. You can't say it fairer than that, can you? Here comes Jeremy Ngakia, a West Ham youth sort of under 23 player. He's going to come in. I believe he's a right back. Played 5 times for the Hammers last season, coming into Watford to work now with new coach Vladimir Ivic. There he is. Lyle Taylor, not a sight many Charlton fans would want to see, but we knew it was coming. Taylor famously or infamously during lockdown said, I'm not going to come back and play. I'm not going to extend my contract, despite the fact that the season has gone longer than the contract you signed, Charlton, and despite the fact that you didn't know there was going to be a worldwide pandemic. Lyle Taylor, there were people behind him, but certainly a lot of football fans didn't like that, especially given some of those Swansea players as well. I know they were up challenging in the playoffs, possibly to get to the Premier League. They played on and they did deals. Lyle Taylor's position was, I've worked my way up. This is the highest level I've ever played at. I'm doing well. I'm the best player I've ever been. I could get a big transfer to a big club. I'm on a free. I could get a big contract. Well, Nottingham Forest is a big club, and in terms of the Championship, it doesn't get much bigger than 2-time European Cup winners Nottingham Forest. So Lyle Taylor has done exactly what he said and got a move and presumably a decent deal from Mr. Marianakis there to play up top at Forest. Remember, Forest very staunchly only play one up front, although I wonder whether it's been grabbing all season with sort of Amiobi and Lolly off. I wonder whether Taylor could play to the side. I don't know. Certainly he's probably actually better target man than Graben is. So you don't know what you'll see. If Lamucci sticks to the same system, you could see Taylor down the middle and Graben slightly off him. You could see the two of them up front in the two. That would be a change of system. Or he could just be another option. And if you watch my Nottingham Forest season review, I did call out the fact that they didn't have depth in respects of if Lolly doesn't do it, if Graben doesn't do it, who does do it? So maybe it's just that. Maybe it's, look, Graben's the guy, but now you've got a goal-scoring option, 11 goals for Charlton last season there off the bench. Maybe that's the case. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know what you think if you're a Charlton fan as well. There is the career trajectory, so you can see bimbled about. Concord Rangers there. Someone let me know, is that anything to do with the Cowleys? Because I know they were there in 2009, 2010, goal machine. There, worked his way into the league there with Bournemouth. Didn't happen for him. Falkirk scored a hatful. Again, comes back, and then really AFC Wimbledon. It's only this past few seasons doing a really great job for Charlton, League One and then Championship. Steady climb, but in his 30s as well. And frankly, wants to cash in. And I'll accept either view on that. If your view is good luck to him, it's a short career, make hay while the sun's shining, I can get that. But if your view is be loyal, well, he didn't really help Charlton get out in those last 6 games, did he? So I'll accept either view on that. There we go. Sitting on the fence a little bit. Another one out, Chucho Hernandez from Watford, out on loan. 7 from there. All Premier League squads will trim, won't they? We're expecting Bournemouth to do a bit of heavy duty trimming with Darren Ramsdale today or tomorrow as well, and another big fee coming in there. Also, that is Marcus McGowan, who's gone out to Oxford. That will suit all parties. Oxford, I saw last season, played good football under Carl Robinson. Lost on penalty. No, they got through to the final, didn't they? And ended up losing to Wickham in the end. Sorry, won the semi-final on penalties. Lost the final. Oxford United last season. So I'm sure they'll have a good go, and McGuane will get some football there. So that is the latest transfer update, episode 6 there. If there's any deals that have happened in the past, I should have dealt with them in videos 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, so check it out there. As ever, get your comments in and let me know what you think of any of these deals that have done. Agree, disagree, whichever. Let's try and make it a discussion rather than a debate where someone has to win or lose and tear down someone else with some zingy comment. Let's try and make this a cool place to just discuss the transfers. And at the end of the day, we can try and be as smart-assed as we like about transfers, but nobody knows how a transfer is going to work out. We've seen what we think dead certs go in and then fail. And then we see, I don't know, Timu Pukki go into Norwich on a free transfer and no one knows who he is and he scores 29 goals and gets them promoted. So nobody really knows. It's all a matter of opinion on transfers, although we try, when we talk about the deals, to look at the facts and make a fair judgment on it. Right, you can support the channel here. Fortunately, I can have monetization on YouTube now after a few days without. That was my fault, but I've got that sorted again. So you can support the channel via Super Chat on live streams. I will be going live later on for a Q&A, so come and see me for that. On Patreon as well, there's 2 tiers on Patreon. There's a $3 tier where you can support me. That's basically just a donation. It's like the price of a cup of coffee, so $3 per month there. And what you get for that, well, you get to know that you supported a fellow football fan try and make his ambition of doing this full time. I've lost my job through COVID, so I'm really giving this a go. And you can support me there. You can also support for $5. You get a little bit more bang for your buck there. You get my Patreon only Q&As. They're different than the YouTube ones. You'll definitely get your question answered there for sure. We'll go until the cows come home there. YouTube tends to be a bit more difficult, and that's great because we get loads of people watching, but I won't be able to answer all of the questions there. Also on YouTube, Patreon for $5, you'll get my Patreon only vlogs there. Bit of behind the scenes stuff, a bit of what's happening with me and what's happening with the channel, a bit of football chat. As I say, I'll answer your questions as well over there. So I think well worth subscribing, and I would say that because you're going to be supporting me. I can't quite make a living out of this yet. We're on the way. We've got 10,000 subscribers. It's not enough to pay the bills here. My good missus is full-time at work and she's doing me a solid here. I'm taking the government grant tomorrow, in fact, on Monday when that comes out, and we're going to see if we can make my ambition and make a go of this. If you don't want to support financially, that's absolutely fine. This will always be free on the YouTube platform, but please hit the thumbs up button. That helps other people find the channel. Hit that subscribe button. We're 11,300 now. Maybe we'll do another plaque up there when it gets to 15,000. That'd be great. 20,000. Let's keep the channel growing. Let's make this the best place for championship content, for football content, and let's make this a place where it's not, oh, you fraud, you joke, and that juvenile kind of commentary that we get on certain channels, which is fine if you like that sort of thing. But as you can see, we're going to try and be a bit more analytical and sophisticated, and it's too snobby in our approach here. We're going to look at the facts, we're going to look at the evidence, and we're going to hopefully give you a good analysis of what's going on in the football world. As I say, please comment on this video with your views. Remember, they are just opinions, particularly on transfers. We don't know how they're going to go. And I will quickly bang the drum. This is not a political channel, but the one socio-political point I will make every time is I think we need to do more as people to police online. I think we know where we stand outside on the street. We know the rules, we know the laws, and we abide by them in the most part. But here online, it's a bit Wild West, isn't it? And I think we need to do more, add more checks and balances to each other. So, and the first person we can add checks and balance to is ourselves. So if you are contributing and commenting online, on Twitter, whatever, try not to be a jerk. Try and be nice. Doesn't have to be this demolition culture that we get of, so-and-so destroys so-and-so in the comments or whatever. Let's just discuss the football and enjoy watching people we admire play the game and the stories that come with that. Right, enough of that from me. Please support, as I said, via Patreon, Super Chat, etc. This has been the transfer update, the 6th one. Yes, the 6th one, so check out the other ones as well. I'll be back later on with a live Q&A, more ideas, more news, more videos coming in. The channel grows and grows, and I thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next video. Over and out.